Hello guys, welcome to TechTonic. Today it's our first episode and we have a very special guest with us. She's called Varsha Prasad. So I'll give you a bit of introduction about her and I'm sure you'll be excited for it. So Varsha is an enthusiast pen pusher to open source projects and developer of various cloud platforms. She is an alumnus of CMU with majors in electrical and computer engineering and also an alumni of SRM. She is also a part of our project team family. Presently, she is a software engineer at RedHat and she has been a research assistant, a graduate teaching assistant, intern, and a graduate engineer system integration and harbors various skills ranging from cloud computing to neural network and cryptography. Varsha's professionalism and brilliance has earned her instrumental positions at Women Tech Makers, Women Who Code, and International Neural Network Security, to name a few. Moreover, she has aced her research domain with her publications. So let's start talking to her. Welcome, Varsha. So I am going to shoot my first question. So after engineering, there is a broad spectrum of professional opportunities out there for freshers like us, and most of us have a lot of confusion as to what to pursue next. So what drew you close to your particular field?
Yes, I agree that there are lots of opportunities and lots of options to choose from after undergraduation. And I feel personally that everyone's journey in exploring what they like and what they are interested in is different. And in fact, mine has been completely different too. So, for example, during my final years of undergraduation at SRM, I was more focused towards data science and machine learning. In fact, my final year project was based on designing of a chaotic neural network using Memristor for its applications in cryptography. But then I joined Nokia and I was a part of the virtual network functions team, which is again a part of the cloud computing group. And there I was exposed to the real life applications and the real life systems behind the telecom networks. And that was when I was intrigued by the process of how different components, which are virtually a part of the same system, work together concurrently, make the process more efficient, and at the same time try to maintain fault tolerance. And this entire process, which happens, is very common. This process happens in our day-to-day lives. For example, the simple Google search which you do like 100 times a day, there's a lot of things happening behind the scenes. You have an entire multi-server architecture, you have caching system, you have distributed databases which do all the processes and get you the output which you want in a second. And this was something which I was interested in knowing about, in learning about. And most importantly, I feel that the study of systems is something which is very basic. And it is on top of this that we have a lot of applications. So, for example, you have lots of distributed machine learning algorithms, which actually make the process more efficient, more scalable. They increase the performance by running on multiple nodes. So yeah, these were some of the reasons which actually drew me closer to learning and concentrating more on the systems field.
That's nice. That's really great to know. So moving on to the next question. How would you describe your entire journey from after your graduation to your days at CMU and then acquiring a really great position at Red Hat?
Yes, in the sense I joined Red Hat recently. I joined it in February, and the journey from a student life at CMU to a working professional has indeed been very engaging. Uh, so at CMU, we have a lot of coursework which concentrates and gives us an exposure to deal with real life problems. And also the research work and the projects which we do under professors are in parallel with the technological advancements which happen in the industry. So that helps us a lot, and that has personally helped me a lot to onboard to my professional life. Uh, but that is definitely a learning experience at both the places. So my coursework had a particular schedule. I knew what I would be learning about. I had the option of choosing various different fields and doing a mix and match and learning whatever I could. But again, in my professional life, again, there is a learning experience on a day-to-day basis. So every task or every project which I work on here helps me learn more in depth about the open source project which we have to the community. And that's really a very great learning experience.
That's true. Once we actually start working in the industry, we actually find out that the things that we started in college and the things that actually is out there is very different. So that's nice. So moving on to the next question. Talking about people who are just stepping into the field, like many freshers or undergraduates like us, in the field of cloud computing and distributed systems, where do you think they should start from? And what are the most relevant skills right now in the industry that you would like in an employee if you had to hire someone?
So there are a lot of certifications available in the online platforms like EDX, Coursera, and so on. So there are a lot of certifications. You go and click on one, it's great. And then apart from all this, if someone who's a beginner and who wants to go in depth on learning about particular public clouds and specialize in that, we also have certifications provided by those particular public cloud providers, like you have AWS certifications and GCP and so on. So if someone wants to know more about distributed systems, I would just suggest to hop on and learn about the MapReduce work, which is something by the which is something present in the Google research paper, and it's very much interesting, and it would definitely give a great start. But apart from all this, though I don't have a hard list, which is the yes or no list. But then definitely if someone wants to get into this field, I would say that they should be more interested in understanding the complexity of the existing systems which we have, and should also be eager to build those systems. And some of the basic skills which will be required are more efficient in concurrent programming, knowledge about the basic computer networks, knowledge about metric collection, knowledge about logging, and good in programming, definitely. And yeah, these are some of the skills.
That's true. Like, we really need to figure out first where our interest lies and then set a foot ahead. Then, as budding engineers, we all eagerly look forward to applying our knowledge practically, right? So we look for we look for internships where we could gain the real industry experience. But many times, as undergraduates, what happens is we go to these internships, and then the kind of experience that we have or we get isn't something real, or sometimes it's just you're asked to do some clerical work when you're promised to make something else. So you did an internship at Red Hat, and now you are an employee of Red Hat as well. So how, if I ask you to differentiate between the two of them, how would you do it?
I did my internship at Red Hat with the operator lifecycle manager team. So, just to give a very brief overview, my internship project was more involved in creating an open source library for collecting metrics using Prometheus and Grafana for different operator owners. So the best part of my internship, which drew me closer to the open source world, was the fact that I could witness my work or the library which I created being used by other operator owners and the other teams. So that was very much engaging, that I could see the impact of my work directly among the people and in their projects. And this was something very important which made me choose open source lifestyle more than anything else. And to differentiate between my internship and my full time, I would say that during my internship, I had a particular goal to reach. I had a defined project. But during my full time, I get to work not only on the operator SDK team, which I'm part of as of now, not only on that project, but on various other projects like Controller Runtime and QBuilder, which are not only maintained by Red Hat, but which are maintained and whose contributors are from various other companies like Google, VMware, Apple. So the community grows and I get to contribute to all of them and learn the intricacies of all such projects. So that's pretty much interesting part of my job.
Then moving on to the next one. Um, as you said, your job really intrigues you. So, if I ask you to describe a day in your life, how would you do that?
Well, I don't have a defined schedule, hardcore schedule, because it's generally flexible with the meetings and the things which come on. But uh, uh, so on a normal day, I generally start out by actually logging and checking in my Slack if there are any messages which are blockers, which I should work on, or if there are any important notifications, or if there is something which I could contribute to immediately. So I know what task I'll be working on. So I generally work towards it. And we follow the Agile methodology. So we have stand-up meetings. So stand-up meetings are some short meetings where we tell what we had done, what we are prioritizing to do next, and if there are any blockers, we discuss those. So, apart from that, my work revolves around understanding the problem, the feature which is requested, creating a design document, having a proposal, getting it to the team, discussing it with the entire community, and then starting to implement it. So mostly my day revolves around doing either one or two things which are a part of this pipeline.
And so, you just said that you described about this agile technology that you use for meetings. Could you tell us a bit more about it?
Technology is something, agile methodology actually is something which is followed in most of the workplaces as of now. So it depends upon the fact that we have a faster production cycle, we have faster development, we have short production cycles, we provide it to the customer, we test it out and then make changes. So we have sprints. Sprints are blocks of time where we have a defined work to do on. So particularly we have sprints of 3 weeks. Other people may have sprints of 2 weeks or 4 weeks, depending on their own system. And during a sprint, we decide on what work we intend to do and what we intend to get back at the end of the third week, what we intend to produce to the end of the third week. So we have a sprint planning meeting at the start of the sprint where we discuss and assign work to various team members depending on their availability, depending upon what kind of workload they have. And then we have these stand-up meetings regularly where we have a scrum master who's generally a team lead or someone, or sometimes that role gets rotated among the team members who uh, who actually discusses the stand-up meetings, who takes care of the stand-up meetings. And every day we discuss on what blockers we have and what things we prioritize to do and how we are going about the work which we are supposed to do this sprint. And then at the end of the sprint, we have sprint demos where we demo to our team members what work we have done, what work we have achieved. And we have discussion at the start of the next sprint to analyze how the previous sprint went. What are the things that went well? What are the things that we could improve in the next sprint? And what are the things we need to talk about to improve our own entire management system in our team, and so on and so forth. So this is agile methodology which we follow.
So, it's basically prioritizing your work and managing time perfectly. So, that's something we all should adapt to. So, now, talking about all our college days and after post graduation, and now that you're working, now if I give you a chance that you could go back in time and do a few things differently, will there be something that you would want to change?
Yes, definitely. I wish I could have explored more and more during my college days. So, what generally happens is that based on the current scenario, our technological advancements which happen in and around us, we tend to believe that the most lucrative field is what we are interested in. So we tend to subconsciously assume that the field which people are mostly working on is what is very famous, and maybe I should go and get that, and we should do that.
That's
So
very true.
something which may be true in many cases, we may be genuinely interested in that field, and there may be cases when we are not, and there is something else which actually intrigues us more, which excites us more. So this is something I wish I could have done a lot back in engineering days. So the having the basic knowledge of computer engineering helps us a lot. We could have we have the opportunities to actually explore a lot of different fields. We could do research, a lot of stock trading algorithms. We could learn about the quantum computing techniques, advancements which are happening. We could actually research upon the computer vision techniques, which are very interesting and which are very different. So these are the things which we generally tend to overlook, and we generally go to take up the traditional paths which are actually available here. So this is something, yes, I wish I had explored more and more.
So, but you did explore a lot, right? You have been a part of a team, you've done so many projects. So, which project would you like? Could you describe some project which you found the best, or you had the most memorable experience with?
Think the most memorable experience, there have been a lot of projects which have been very interesting to work on. Definitely during my undergrad, I would say my final year project was very, very interesting because it was something new which we decided to try it out, which we decided to work on. We were not very familiar with the various chaotic theory equations which are present there, and we were able to take those, we were able to work on those and then develop a particular model with a specific use case. And that was something which was very interesting. But apart from that, there have been a lot of projects which I had the opportunity to work on at Carnegie Mellon, which were very interesting. Some of them were course projects, some of them were research work. So all these projects were in parallel to what the industry is doing. So there were projects related to security, there were projects related to data mining, and some were related to the core systems where we had to develop a proxy server, or where we had to uh, write a caching system. So all these things were very interesting. So yeah, there are various other projects which actually are took a lot of effort, and it was worth doing all of them.
You've graduated in December, if I'm right, from CMU, and you are still, as you said, you had so many opportunities in CMU. So, are you continuing on any projects from your college right now?
So I'm not continuing on any project along with the professors because of my professional work. But yes, I'm working on open source projects on my own, which I put up on GitHub, which I work on out of my own interest during weekends. So that's not something directly in close contact or in uh, relation to CMU's work, which I could work on as of now. But this is something which I'm working on during my weekends or whenever I'm free.
That's really great. So, we'll have an ending question. And what advice would you have for people who want to step into your field right now, as in the things that they should improve on, or some difficulties that you feel that you faced while you were continuing your journey, and something you would want to tell others that you shouldn't do this?
There are a lot of things which I could give inputs on, which I feel are not only restricted to this field, but are applicable to many other. Most importantly, if someone coming particularly to the field of cloud computing and distributed systems, if someone wants to get into this field, it's very much important to have an hands-on knowledge. So don't shy off from doing projects, and there are lots of things available. So we have AWS, we have GCP, we have Azure giving up free credits for us for students. So never shy off from using them. Uh, Use them, have your projects hosted. So most importantly, what we should realize is cloud computing is a technology, and there are various applications which run on top of it. And by doing these projects, you will get to know more about the applications which you are interested in. And at the same time, you will get to know more about the underlying architecture or the system which you are using. And when you do it from scratch, it is all the more interesting. So never shy off from having an hands-on experience. Try to do as many projects as they are possible. And I would always suggest to have it open source, because the more people you work along with, the more people you work with the same interests with, and that helps you to improve your project more, and that helps you to learn from others. So that's a very interesting experience which we have. So that's one thing which I would suggest everyone does. And something which is very important in this industry is to start connecting with people. Never live in a bubble, or never assume that people are not ready to talk. Just try approaching them, try making connections, because the more we learn from others experiences, the better it is. And there are a lot of learnings which we can get from others experiences, which helps us indirectly to choose what we want, to learn what we want, and that in turn excites us, or that may actually switch our interests. So that is something which is very important, which we should all do.
Varsha, it was really nice talking to you. And would you like to share something with us? Something else, some point that you would like to forward to our viewers?
Nothing specific which I have here, but definitely I would say that if there is, since I am from the same community, since I was a part of the project team, I am also an SRM alumni, it would be uh, very nice if any one of you have any questions or any doubts, feel free to reach out to your seniors, to your alumni, and get your questions cleared and get an understanding of what's happening in industry. So yes, keep learning. The times are hard and we are at home, so this is a very great opportunity to do lots of interesting things, develop your interest. So yeah, all the best to each and every one of you.
Thank you so much, Varsha. And thank you all for watching. And any queries, please drop it down in the comment section. Thank you so much.